is approval of minutes of March 6th.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes of March 6th.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So next is addition to the agenda, and I have one, and that is appointments, Board of Assessment Appeals, Blaine Matthews. Is there a second to add that?
I second that addition.
Are there any other additions? All those in favor of that addition?
Aye.
Next, communications. The board did receive communication from Marnell Stover, who is president of the library, said the library board is not in favor of a crosswalk on Pine Street. So they would like to take this into account, which, as they would be the primary beneficiary of a proposed crosswalk, which they feel is unnecessary. I'd be all in favor of granting their formal request of
I move that we accept their formal request not to have a crosswalk in front of the library.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Next is communications. We did get something from the Sherman Conservation Commission, which Kate Frigan has talked about. That is the Cricket Valley Power Plant, which is a natural gas pipe plant that's being proposed in Dover Plains, New York, which is adjacent to Sherman and Kent. And there's a meeting on April 8th, 3 to 5 p.m. at the Sherman Volunteer Fire Department. Firehouse, Route 39, North Sherman, Connecticut. And it's talking about the information concerning this power plant and its potential air pollution from the emissions of the 1100 megawatt plant that will be permitted, that's in the process of being cited. So if you want to put that out there on your web, Richard, hand that over, give us some publicity, that'd be
No problem.
welcome. Thank you.
You want me to send you the email? I might have
Yeah, you can send me the email.
I'll send it.
Just so people know about that. Any other communications?
Yes, when we were talking about the bids for the firehouse last time.
Yes.
Joanne Warshak raised the question, isn't there a more formal way that we should be getting bids? She felt that we didn't publicize it enough. And because you had two bids on one part of it, and then you just said, well, the electricity will add, or something will add another
Right.
couple of thousand.
So we can put that as a future agenda item. I can pull out our
Fine,
bidding procedure
that's all.
and see
I
what
just
you
like
think.
for futures, that's
Right.
fine.
I mean, yeah, we have, so we can talk about it as a future agenda item.
Thank you.
Okay. Next is public comment. Any public comment?
Yes,
Richard.
I'd like to say something about the, Cornwall has a Explore Cornwall website, and I would like to have them, if they could properly post the original farm market on their link, and because right now when it says original Cornwall farm market, it goes to the one that's in the village, and that's not the original Cornwall farm market. And so
Have you talked to them? Because
I've
it's
talked
not.
to them, yes, and they haven't responded to me.
Huh.
111, yeah. Just wanted to make that aware.
Okay. Any other public comments?
Well, it appears that we're going to have two farmers markets going forward, and I think we should clearly identify each one in its location.
Okay. Any other public comments? Okay, so next is bridge program update. Roger King.
Okay, well, since we're in correspondence mode, we can talk with I noticed the town received a letter memo from Art Caesar. They're going to do an underwater bridge inspection on the covered bridge on April 2nd. This is a memo from Art Caesar, who is the president of the Caesar Associates. They're an underwater bridge inspection firm, and that is much less frequent when they do underwater inspections. And they're used to going 8, 10, 20 feet underwater. When they have a bridge like the covered bridge, may only be 5 or 6 feet of water at the deepest point. They'll still put the gear on and go in, probe around, see if there's any undermining, any erosion.
So they're looking at the supports, the footings that are holding the bridge up, because most of the bridge is out of the water. So they're just going at the supports for the bridge.
They're looking for scouring, you're saying?
They're looking for
Yeah.
scour, erosion, that type of thing. So anyhow, they sent a memo to the town, to Gordon's attention. And I got a copy of it, just wanted to bring into the record,
Right.
so to speak. So it's scheduled for the 2nd, and it's very likely to be rescheduled if the weather's terribly inclement. But the cold temperature doesn't affect it. Real high velocity of water does. They'll put an anchor in and then let themselves downstream and pull themselves back upstream along that anchor line.
Okay?
That's something they routinely do, and I don't know, I've never noticed that they notified towns before, but nice that they're doing that now. Ted LaPierre is the DOT engineer who's in charge of that, and he must have implemented that procedure.
This is somebody in a whole bell.
No, not deep water. This would be wetsuit.
Wetsuit, okay.
Very probably they wouldn't even use compressed air because there is no depth to the water. So they're more likely to use snorkel equipment to get their face in the water and so forth, and be suited up. They're not going to be using fins because there's no place to swim really. They're just going to be splashing around in the water. But if somebody sees divers in the water for some reason, that at least the first selectman's office should know
Right.
what's going on.
We need to video.
There you go. Right in your neighborhood too.
Yeah.
I don't know what time. Usually it's pretty much one setup takes the better part of the day.
One side one day, the other side the other
Oh,
day?
it'll all be done one day. You get the pier, you've got to look around the pier in the center. So essentially you've got 4 different sides to look at. You've got upstream and downstream. Downstream actually creates more of a whirlpool and draws the material out. Upstream is usually pointed and doesn't get as much erosion because it's taking on ice and stones and debris from down. And it gets filled on the upstream side. It gets drawn out of the downstream side. But that was just a little aside. As far as our bridge program goes, our public notice did come out in the Waterbury paper. We had 8 teams respond to the public notice.
Wow.
We responded to all 8 firms that contacted us, thanked them for their letter of interest, and told them they would be invited to a pre-bid meeting. I talked to Dave Batista about how he's coming along. They did get the survey work done on the Smith Place Bridge, and it's not much different than we anticipated. This just is the profile and the plan. I'll leave a copy with you just for information purposes. Dave Batista really has to interpret that information as to how it applies to the bridge itself. The waterway capacity of the bridge is the most critical factor that we need, and very little of that is going to come from the survey. But the previous studies have been done on Mill Brook in the past, even further down, so it would be easy for him to duplicate that information and apply it to that particular location, the Smith Place location.
So what's our schedule as far as getting our bid documents? We're meeting in 2 weeks. Do you think we'll have something to approve and send out in 2 weeks?
Very probably on Smith Place. The gravel bank, I think that the surveyor, Robert Hoffman, dragged his feet a little bit on that one. He asked which one was more critical, and I think I told him that the Smith Place was more difficult, and the other one is much more traditional. So that I don't think the survey has been done since we've had these snowstorms. I don't think he can do the survey work as quickly as he anticipated. He did get the work done for Smith Place. So Dave is going forward with that, and that one is a little more technically challenging. A little further upstream, I'll talk to Dave and see what we can do about meeting the schedule we have in mind. I was kind of hoping we'd be able to do both of these at once. We may have to break them apart and do them as two separate pre-bid meetings. They will be separate bid proposals, so there's no reason why we can't break them apart easily. Just next meeting.
Is there, I sort of have two questions. Is there any advantage to the contractor to bid on both of them?
Most of the contractors stated they would like to bid on both of them. They're small, and both jobs are relatively small from a contractor's point of perspective. And they're both in the same neighborhood. They're both being done in the same construction season. So yes, they're going to be interested in doing them at the same time. But bidding on them at the same time, they might like to do that, and we might like to have it done, but we may have to split them apart by a couple of weeks.
Only because it would be easier for mobilization, the cost of mobilizing would be
That's part of it.
reduced.
Depending where they're located. I mean, let's say if they're coming in from Southington, if they're coming in from Litchfield, it's not such a big.
Doesn't make such a big deal. The second,
And they may not, the bridges are very different, and the approach to each structure is different. Smith Place is a superstructure replacement, and that is going to be an individual custom cast off-site, is what I have in mind. And we're asking them to give us their proposals. I have a preconceived notion, which is my fallback position. If they can knock my socks off with something better, I'm open for that. But one will be a precast arch, is what I have in mind, very much like the Flat Rock Road project.
for the gravel bank.
Right, for the gravel bank. So that remained with two different contractors, two different engineers, and I almost expect that because they are very different in their approach.
And I forgot the, another whole aspect of the Smith Place is the temporary access,
Right,
which is laid out on here.
right, it is.
But is that part of, is that,
I've talked to Gordon about that, and it's up to the board to make that decision. Do we want to include that in the construction project, or what I think might be much more cost-effective is for the town to pre-build this temporary driveway, which is all it's going to be. It's not a road, it's just a driveway, and it's going to be temporary. So the town could probably put it in with existing equipment that the town has. We have a nice loader and a good grader. I'm not so sure the grader is really going to be needed there, but the loader we're just going to be spreading gravel and compacting it.
the backhoe?
But even that, I don't see an awful lot of excavation in there. When we develop some cross-sections, I'll know better. It's not much. Certainly the town backhoe could handle it. We don't need a 3/4 yard excavator or anything like that.
It also was there 50 years ago. or 30 years, when was the repairs done to that?
25 years ago.
So there was something there 25
Right.
years ago, is what I'm saying, so that it's not,
No, it's just trimming and pushing back, and it's going to be, a driveway. It's going to be driveway speed, it's not anywhere near a roadway.
one lane.
Right, about 200 feet, we're gonna have to, put some processed gravel down and compact it. But we shouldn't do that until we know when the construction is actually going to be done. And then, my suggestion is we take it up afterwards, dealing with the local property owners, would,
They may not like it.
well, that's a possibility.
They may not what?
They may like it.
They may want it.
Oh.
An alternate route.
But I think that if the town were to do that independently, it would be more cost effective than to turn it over to a contractor as part of a construction project. But that's something for you folks to decide.
So when do you think we'll be ready to go out to bid?
I wish I could give you an honest answer, but
Right.
as soon as possible.
And when we go out to bid, how long do we give our bidders to reply?
They're gonna need some time, because we're going to ask them we're not going to give them a bid package like we have in the past. We're asking them to do the engineering.
Right.
So this pre-bid meeting is going to be a freebie. What information we have, the town will give to whoever wants to bid on it. They're going to take this limited information and go back and develop a scheme, whether it be a scheme similar to what I have in mind, or whether it be something they come up with entirely on their own. It's up to them. It has to be, structurally sound, and Dave Batista and I have talked about this. He will review all the proposals as far as, we're not gonna put in a balsa wood bridge, that type of thing.
Yep.
And in the pre-bid meeting, you will discuss what your thoughts are on it, presumably.
Right, I mean, I'm trying not to say, it's a done deal, that this is what's going to happen, but I've got a pretty good idea of what would work there and what would be cost effective.
Cost effective. I mean, you say this is what you think may work, but you're open to ideas, and you can do
So-
something that's good or
And
better.
New material, new construction methods.
So we'll look at, instead of giving them a month, 2 months, how long?
No, not more than a month,
Not more than a month.
Right. Once we have the pre-bid meeting and we give them, if you will, their assignment, they should be able to respond to us back within 30 days.
Right, okay. So then, if we can get our documents in April, we should have some hard numbers in May then, or
Yeah,
something
maybe.
like that.
I mean, I'd
By
like to
June
see-
1st anyway.
Yeah,
Right, so if we only need a month, and it would be good if you could find out from Batista what is the lag time. I think it would be good if we can do both of these at the same time, even if we have to wait 2 weeks or something to get them in sync.
okay.
I would think that would make sense if we can work back from June 1st. Do you think that's a good time, or we should shoot for May
May, sometime in May.
to get the final answers?
Right, to get the bid submitted, definitely sometime. in May.
Right, so you'll
When you
give
say
us,
the bid's submitted, you mean,
That we would have our pre-bid meeting, give them what information we have, ask them to develop it and get back to us.
by May 15th, May 25th, or something?
Yeah, I can't pin
Yeah,
it down,
yeah.
yeah, but sometime in May.
To have the finished hard
And we
number.
should be able to award everything within 30 days for us to do what administrative requirements are.
right,
Then we have to, if it's going to be a cookie cutter type bridge where we order the bridge, we have to then order the bridge, well in advance, so that the fabricator has time to, cast the bridge and cure it, so that it's ready for delivery when we need it in place. The gravel bank is much more flexible, but which is why I'm glad that Smith Place, I did tell them that Smith Place had a priority.
Right.
Tighter timeframe.
got it. Any other questions for Roger? We have a visitor I just want to talk to for a second.
Well,
Next meeting.
it sounds as if it's coming together. I would, and we're still sort of shooting for the same time frame in,
But this construction season,
well, not only this construction season, but possibly the same time frame as the September for
The covered bridge.
the covered bridge,
Right, Smith Place would be done in the month of September.
which gives us approximately sometime in June, July, August, sometime in September, 90 days to pre-order,
Oh, yeah, there'll be plenty of time.
this.
About 60 days is what they like to build a precast structure.
As long as they're not backed up.
Right. And what the workload is. And I am very satisfied with the 8 respondees that we've had to our legal notice.
Will it take a little bit of verification, if that's the right word, from Dave Batista, from their, here's what they're bidding on, while we can possibly look over and,
It looks like what we want. Dave would have to review it and see if it's structurally sufficient.
correct, okay, yes, yeah. And again, that won't take,
It shouldn't take more, I mean, it shouldn't take a week once you get to it, but it depends what everybody's workload is.
Right.
So to sit down and review somebody else's work and say, oh, I see what they're gonna do here. And, you know, I don't like this idea, this is fine, but I'd like them to rethink this, we can do that. So I don't see a time problem yet, as long as we get started in a timely fashion.
yeah, it's only the beginning of the season.
Right. Good. All right. So we'll learn more at our next meeting. We'll just keep it on there until we get the bids, right? But it sounds like we're making good progress.
Yeah, and I mentioned while you were out that I'm very satisfied with the respondees that have
Right.
come in. A lot of firms I've worked with before, a lot of consulting engineers. We've got one consulting engineer who wants to take the lead, and the contractor is taking the back seat, so to speak. Most of them, the contractor comes first.
Right.
And here's who they're going to use as an engineer. But there's one engineering firm that is taking the lead and has a contractor that is going to work with them. So I find that interesting. It's kind of a rear engine,
Right.
but we'll see.
Some of the usual suspects on the list of interested parties?
Yes, most of the usual suspects that we're used to dealing with. Run through them if you want.
That's all right. We'll wait till
Okay.
the pre-bid. See who actually shows up with it.
Okay. Well, letters have already gone out to all
Right.
the original respondents.
Right.
And there's no reason why anyone could not be added to the
Right.
list.
If somebody
Right.
comes in. Right. Great.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Roger. Okay. Next is the next item is budget 2018-2019. The Board of Finance met last Thursday. They're meeting again this Thursday to further refine the budget that will be presented at a public hearing on the 20th of May at 7:30 at the school. I'm sorry, 20th of April. And then the actual town meeting is in May. So it will be a challenging budget year, mostly due to the lack of state revenues and increased costs at the high school. So stay tuned, they're working hard on that. And let's see, next thing is appointment. There's a vacancy on the Board of Assessment Appeals. Priscilla asked Blaine Matthews if he would be interested in filling that vacancy, and he
Has agreed.
has agreed. That's good. The chair is here, so so are you finished for the season?
Yes, for the spring season, yes.
Right, and what is the next event?
Next meeting that will have to be in September for motor vehicles.
Good. And are there training courses out there? Am I making that up?
Yes, I did
Yeah.
talk to Joanne Dodge and asked her to sign up all 3 members of the board for the next training session.
Good.
We've gone twice before, but quite happy to go again. Each one is significantly different than the previous one, or 2 that we're taking. And they're typically end of the year. They're usually sometime in December, early January, before the real estate session, which
Right.
is in the spring.
Right. Good,
So do we send a letter out to Blaine telling him he's been
Well,
appointed?
for first we have to vote.
Motion.
First, we have to appoint him.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Blaine Matthews to the Board of Assessment Appeal.
To fill out the term
I
for
second that.
Pam.
Yeah, to fill, you're right,
Long
to
way.
fill out the term, the open term at the moment.
Pam Longwell had a 2-year term. and
Right.
I think it's 1 year is left on that.
Right. So any discussion?
I just, what, do you have anything on his background? Is he been in town long?
Yeah, he's a long time.
He's the one that started the Matthews 1812 house. The bakery, it's been a mail order bakery for over 30 years. And he lives on Whitcomb Hill Road, he and his wife.
And he
They've
wa-
retired, so his daughter's taken over the business, Cynthia.
Right.
But
He was a long time on planning and zoning. I think he was very conscientious and thoughtful member of that. So,
Great.
and he has been in town for a long time, so knows his way around. Good. So any more discussion? All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
So then,
Send a letter tomorrow.
Thank you very
send them
much.
out a letter. Good. So then, next is public comment again. And hearing no public comment, I'd make a motion to go into executive session to talk about the transfer station attendant position.
Second that?
So, at this point, that's the end of the public session. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And
Stay tuned. Right.
No more TV.